Nice. At this point, this is the peak of the video. No matter what lightsaber I show you, it's not going to be better than this one. Oh, shit. I never really know when to stop. Did you expect anything else? Hey, what up? I'm Miles and welcome back, and happy May 4th. Or, of course, May the 4th be with you. You know, every time I say that, I always think about that one dude out there who has a lisp, and every time he tries to say May the 4th be with you, he just kind of says that. If anyone out there has a lisp, let me know if that like causes problems. It really shouldn't. I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, as a lot of you may know, I am not only a massive Spider-Man fan, I am a massive Star Wars fan. And if you don't know, but you really should because I don't know how you follow me and wouldn't know, May 4th is the official day for Star Wars. It is National Star Wars Day because it is May the 4th be with you. So I wanted to do something cool for May 4th. For May 4th. I like that. Not only do I like Star Wars, but I like lightsabers. And I've been grateful enough to actually own a decent amount of them. Being a creator does have its perks, and free lightsabers is one of them. So in this video, I thought it would be fun to go over and showcase every lightsaber that I have ever. I guess like my entire lightsaber collection. And maybe at the end reveal which one is my favorite. Kind of like that one old video I made going over all my Spider-Man suits, but instead of that, it's lightsabers, and I have more than like 4 of them. Actually, you know what? I want to make this fun. I'm going to test y'all's Star Wars knowledge throughout the video. So I'm just going to drop random trivia questions about Star Wars and see who can get them all right. But there's going to be like zero context to them regardless. Trivia question 1. In A New Hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi says that the Sand People only ever travel in single file. There's a specific reason to this. Why do they only travel in single file? Anyway, let's get into the lightsabers. So of course y'all know I had to start off with an old classic, the old flick-out lightsaber. Flick-out lightsabers. Oh yeah, when I said entire lightsaber collection, I meant all of them. And this one has probably seen some better days. This has been absolutely demolished. I specifically have a memory of, as a kid, I used to take this out to like a random farm field and just like whack trees with it really hard. And they always survived. Like, these ones are strong. It's just like folded up plastic, but I specifically remember just absolutely going ape shit in a whole field and just knocking down a bunch of crops. That farmer probably hated me. I also distinctly remember having like 4 of these, 2 of them in Obi-Wan style and 2 of them in Qui-Gon style. Now that I think of it, I also remember having like that weird connected General Grievous one, but that one is long gone. I don't know where that went. Oh man, this video just got sad. I lost my toy lightsabers. Anyway, along with that old flick-out one, I do have an old flick-out one for Kylo Ren. But this one doesn't really count as a flick-out because it starts like this, and then you flick out the rest. So I really don't see what the point of it is if you start halfway, there's 0 point. Like, the whole point of the flick-out sabers was to have a clip here, and then randomly you click the button and watch out and be able to like attack your friends. Because that's what I did as a kid. I walked around with a flick-out plastic lightsaber ready to absolutely deck any of my friends. And then the best of the flick-out plastic sabers, which by the way, that catch, flawless, is this one, the one that has no clip, but it's not just a flick out, it's a spring one. That doesn't work at all. And then when you pull it out all the way, it locks and you can actually like hit people with it. I don't know why every lightsaber I define it as, yeah, you can hit somebody with it and that means it's a good quality saber. It should not be my method of criteria, but it is. I mean, already this one is going to be the best one because I clearly just caught it again without looking, and that was like a whole 360. So it doesn't really matter like what. Just remember I caught it twice before. So it doesn't matter what other sabers I show you, that one's gonna be the best. I should mention, I'm kind of moving up both in terms of timeline and quality. I'm starting with like the ones I had as a kid and then moving up into the more high-end ones because I feel like that's just natural progression. And I also have them just all laid out on my floor right there in a line, so I'm just following the line. God forbid I step on that one spiky one. If you want to know what the spiky one is, watch the whole video. Anyway, moving kind of up in quality, we have my first ever official light-up saber. This is a base-lit Ultra Saber. If you guys don't know, and what I didn't know before I started getting more into the saber game, Ultra Sabers is not great. They are not a great company. And for some reason, when I was buying my first saber, I thought they were, because one of my homies said Ultra Sabers is where you go to get sabers. So I thought, get a saber from Ultra Sabers. But we were all young, dumb, and broke at some point. In my case, I'm still all 3 of those things. Just to give you the basic gist of it, their design, detail, and quality work is not that great compared to other high-end saber companies that go for replicas. Their stunt sabers are hardly that and can't really be used for stunt sabering. Their blades are weak, they fall apart, they can't handle any real hits. Their lights aren't that great. They're all pretty much baselit. I don't believe they offer NeoPixels. I've never seen a NeoPixel Universal Ultra Saber, but I could be wrong. And for some reason, they're like significantly heavier. I don't know what metal they use for these, but they're ridiculously heavy and bulky for no reason. By the way, this video isn't meant to just be ripping on Ultra Sabers. My bad. I just felt like I should explain that. But yeah, my first ever saber was a green, like, Initiate 4 from Ultra Sabers, and that was that. But I'm not going to complain too much about them because it did kickstart my lightsaber journey, so can't really hate it that much. Moving past there, we have this weird, I think it's a Force FX lightsaber, and this is from Master Yoda. There was this like product line called Force FX, I believe, of a bunch of different lightsabers. They had Luke, Qui-Gon, Anakin, I think like Vader, Maul, Yoda. They had a bunch of sabers like this with like this really thin blade, and it was only really meant to be displayed. And I know because it came with a pretty cool display stand that said Star Wars on the bottom, and I used to have it on my bookshelf like this. Now, that being said, in terms of a decorative feature, it's really cool. Obviously not 100% accuracy, but hey, I don't think they were going for it. It was kind of just meant to be a cheaper quality decoration. Also, they're incredibly flimsy. Like this lightsaber, I guarantee if I smacked a tree with it, it would snap in one hit. Again, I don't know why that's my criteria of, hey, if I smacked a tree really hard, this would break, and that means it's bad. That's not fair, because I feel like I could break a lot of these sabers if I smacked them really hard, because gains. Also, it's really sticky, but that's probably not the fault of the saber. I think I like spilled something on it a while ago and never cleaned it. That's nasty. I'm gonna put that down. Trivia question number 2. In The Phantom Menace, in the opening scene, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan land on the Separatist ship to discuss trade routes as negotiators. What is the name of the ship that they use to transport themselves and land on the Trade Federation Control Center ship? Moving up from there, we have an incredibly iconic saber. If you followed me from my TikTok days, you should recognize this and one other hilt. There was a phase during TikTok, like every other creator who likes Star Wars, where I made nothing but lightsaber videos, and I loved them. And to make all of those videos, I bought 2 cheap stunt sabers from like these off-brand bougie saber companies. This one I think was from Sabers Pro or Zia Sabers, and then I never used those sites again. I literally just needed 2 cheap stunt sabers. And I keep saying 2 even though I'm only holding 1. That's because the other one is residing with my friend Cayenne. When I was training her to use a lightsaber, I offered to leave one with her so that she could keep practicing her spinning and of course knock a bunch of stuff over. However, I can almost like guarantee it's just collecting dust in the corner of her bedroom. If you're watching this video, that was like a direct shot right there. I was throwing shade. Anyway, these sabers are amazing. These are, like I said, they're cheap stunt sabers, but these things are like invincible. I've dropped, kicked, thrown, punched, hit these things a million times before on grass, concrete, dirt, rocks. I mean, listen, I'm not advocating that you should do these things. I'm just saying I did do them and my saber survived. There's nothing super fancy about them. They just have a hollow blade on the end that screws in, or base lit from the center down here, and they're incredibly lightweight so that you can spin them very, very fast and very fluently and not really have to worry about it. If I'm ever gonna pick a saber to go out to spin, if I wanna make a fun video, if I wanna make a stunt video, whatever, I'm probably gonna pick this one because these guys can take a beating. These guys are just tanks. So I gotta give credit where credit is due. These cheap ass little stunt sabers, beautiful. Trivia question number 3. In Attack of the Clones, in the Geonosis arena, Anakin, Padme, and Obi-Wan are chained up to be fighting monsters. What are the names of the 3 monsters that are sent out to attack them? Okay, now we're getting into the fun ones. These are now the high-end replica sabers that you've seen in the movies before. Now, I should preface this, and I'm going to be 100% honest. Every saber that I've shown you up until this point, I either purchased with my own money, or I've had since I was a kid. Like those little flick out ones, I've had those since I was a kid. The 2 stunt sabers, I purchased those. Every saber I'm gonna show you from this point forward, I did not purchase. A while back, I was partnered with a lightsaber company called Kyber Sabers, and in my contract of making videos for them, they provided the products that I was then allowed to keep for myself. Those products, of course, being all of these lightsabers. So, I don't want someone getting the wrong idea thinking that I make a bunch of money and I was able to drop all of it on these lightsabers. That is not at all what I'm trying to say. I was given a crazy cool opportunity and I'm forever grateful and blessed that I had that to make those videos for them and of course keep these lightsabers in the long run in the end, because like I said, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd and having these lightsabers is awesome. But I feel the need that I had to push that out there because I knew there was going to be one guy who's like, oh, I thought you said you're broke and you can't afford anything. You're right, I am. But like I said, I made stuff in exchange for these. All right, no real order. I'm just gonna grab one and go. So starting off strong, we have Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. Now, little fun fact about Miles, Return of the Jedi is my all-time favorite Star Wars movie, and I always get a huge thrust of nostalgia every time I see Luke on the sail barge, the lightsaber flies to him from R2, and he clicks it on and the music scores up. No matter what mood I'm in, that scene never fails to get a kick out of me and I have to smile. And of course, with Return of the Jedi being my favorite Star Wars movie, I'm of course gonna have a lot of love and admiration for the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker lightsaber. Now, obviously, Star Wars knowledge and lore, this was based off of Obi-Wan Kenobi's hilt in Episode 3. In terms of the kyber crystal used to actually produce this lightsaber, there's a lot of theories going around and I don't think there's ever been a canon explanation as to Luke Skywalker's lightsaber crystal. I've heard theories that it came from Qui-Gon's own lightsaber. I've heard theories that say it came from Obi-Wan's old lightsaber. I've heard theories that say that Luke Skywalker had to craft his own synthetic crystal using a dark side method. Truthfully, I don't know what the official canon reason as to Luke Skywalker's kyber crystal for his second lightsaber, so anybody is absolutely free to leave it down below. Just please keep the discussion civil, but I would love to hear the answer down below. Now, as much as I would like to spend an hour talking about every single saber, and I probably could, we got a lot of sabers to get through. So, if this video does interest you and you want to talk more about lightsabers, please absolutely let me know, and I would love to make more videos about lightsabers in the future, because like I said, Star Wars is another fandom I love. Moving right off the bat of that one, we have the lightsaber that was inspired from Obi-Wan Kenobi's Episode 3 lightsaber. When I look at this lightsaber, I just feel happy. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's the chrome finish, maybe it's the golden chrome, it's the color code in between, or maybe it's just the design or the nostalgia that I fear for Episode 3. But when I look at this lightsaber, I feel happy. That sounded interesting, but I'm gonna allow it. I'm gonna keep that in there. That also sounded weird. Ah, man. Anyway, obviously this lightsaber was crafted by Obi-Wan Kenobi after Episode 2. We know that it was crafted between those two because he wields it in the Clone Wars. It's honestly just such a pretty lightsaber to look at. And again, I would love to go deeper into the lore about it and explain more about it, but that's videos for the future if you guys are interested. Keeping with the train of Obi-Wan Kenobi, we do have the first lightsaber that he used before he converted into his Episode 3 lightsaber. This is the style that he used in The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. Something was always weird to me about when Obi-Wan lost the first one of this, that he just made an identical one for Attack of the Clones. I feel like I'm gonna have to do a fact check on that to see if that's real, but every time I watch those two movies, I'm pretty sure these are an identical lightsaber, which of course he ends up losing both of them anyway, so I think the universe was just trying to tell him this was not the design for him, and he needed to convert to this sexy beast, because, my god, nothing wrong with this one, it's great. But comparing these two, I'm like, dude, he had a glow up. This one, in a very vague way, is inspired by his master Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber. If you look at them long enough, you can see a couple different inspirations, like the grip and the fat emitter shroud. Little things that just show that Obi-Wan, when he was finding himself as a Jedi, took a lot of inspiration from his old master. And then, of course, when he took his own path, he made his own lightsaber, and it looks very different. And of course, I have to show you this one paired with the next one, which is Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber. These ones just look so cool when you pair them up. They look like they belong together, because I think they do. Kind of like what I was saying, there's clear inspiration. You can see the emitter shroud up on top is kind of identical to each other. You can see that he was trying to replicate these large hand grips that Qui-Gon had, the large red button on both of them, and this pattern right here, this kind of ribbed grill, is kind of overall in Qui-Gon's blade as well. And of course the color scheme, it just kind of looks inverted from one another. Anyway, Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber is incredibly basic, and I think that was the point. I made a quick short a while back when I was making content for these lightsabers, explaining how Qui-Gon was a very simple man, and how that was kind of shown through with his lightsaber design. But just because it's basic does not mean it's not good, because again, this is a damn sexy hilt. Now, as long as I'm talking about the blades from Phantom Menace, I might as well bring up the third one in the Duel of the Fates pack, the Darth Maul double-bladed Phantom Menace lightsaber. Woo-hoo-hoo, this one gives me chills. This one is absolutely amazing. Darth Maul is one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars, and being able to have and hold his lightsaber is absolutely surreal to me. I distinctly remember when I was opening all these packages for the lightsabers, every single month I would get a different one, and I know that the guys wanted to time the Phantom Menace package with when Phantom Menace was having its anniversary to have videos out for that. And when I heard that in that I had a chance to get the Darth Maul hilt, obviously I took it and did whatever I could to make that happen. And by God, was it worth it, because having this lightsaber hilt is amazing. Darth Maul's lightsaber hilt has always been a cool mixture of complex yet simple. I don't know how that makes sense, but it does. It's complex in the sense that his emitter shroud is more like a pike and very extended compared to most other blades, but the rest of his hilt is fairly basic. Now, this hilt does also have a feature where I can take them apart to dual wield if I want to, or just display them as a pair like this. There's a lot of double-bladed lightsabers in Star Wars that are detachable and can be used like as dual wield. I know that Darth Maul's, at least in Phantom Menace, was not one of those. I know that it was built to be it was built to be one continuous energy flow through the entire thing, meaning he couldn't take it apart. Now, that doesn't mean he couldn't use one blade at a time. He could very easily just use one side of it without turning the other side on, but it just means he couldn't detach the two and use them in two different hands, kind of like how we see Ventress do later in the Clone Wars. Which, I feel the need to admit this, this is a confession I had. When I was a kid, I used to think that Ventress was Darth Maul's wife because they both had double-bladed red lightsabers. That's a little insight as to Child Miles when he first saw the Clone Wars movie. I saw Ventress and I saw a double-bladed red saber and I was like, that's Darth Maul shorty right there. Don't know what that logic was. Trivia question number 4. In the final season of the Clone Wars, when Ahsoka is escaping the clone troopers after Order 66, she tries to get information about Clone Trooper 5s. What is the passcode that she needs to get in? And why is those numbers relevant? Moving on to the next one, we have a very fun one. This is the Lego lightsaber in real life. I will stand to argue that the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga is the greatest Lego video game of all time. Yes, I've played the Skywalker Saga and I have issues with that game. Like, it's cool, it looks great, but it's not formulated the same way that the old Lego games were, and I found it really difficult to get into it. That's not to say it doesn't look amazing. It looks great and I would love to go through it one day when I have the time to like play through the whole thing. But anyway, on a more positive note, this one I was super excited to unbox because look at it, it's literally the Lego lightsaber in real life. This one was actually so cool, I have its own unboxing video on this channel too. This one is also pretty cool as a reminder because Kyber Sabers and I did run a giveaway where we gave away another one of these lightsabers. So somebody else out there has one of these Lego lightsabers that they won from my promoted giveaway, and I think that's pretty cool. Moving down the line, we're running out of sabers, but we still have a decent amount to show you. We have the first ever lightsaber that I ordered from Kyber Sabers when I was testing to be an affiliate. It is the Kylo Ren lightsaber. This one holds a special place in my heart, not only for being the first one in the kickstart into being a Saber affiliate and making all of those lightsaber videos and being able to kind of do all of these things with all these lightsabers and having that opportunity, but because it reminds me of a costume that I have that is 98% done, and I'm just waiting for a day we can do a photo shoot on it, and that of course is Kylo Ren. I have a video on the channel where I unboxed this as unboxing my first ever NeoPixel. I also have a video unboxing like the actual suit that I was going to wear and refurbish and kind of change up, which I've already done. It's kind of hanging back there. It's that thing hanging over my door. I also have a video where I went through and I custom built Kylo Ren's helmet, which is one of my favorite videos that I've made and one of my favorite projects. So if you want to check that out and support it, would really appreciate that. But the reason this saber has so much like excitement in it is because I haven't done Kylo Ren content yet, but the door is open to actually make it. Meaning that I have most of the stuff I need and I'm quite literally just waiting on like a schedule to line up, and now of course weather, because as much as I love summer, I love this hot weather. If you can't tell, I'm wearing a tank because it's very hot. I'm also wearing swim trunks, if you can't tell. Kylo Ren is an incredibly layered and very hot costume to wear, so I don't think I'll be wearing it for the summer, but that means that this next winter I can probably suit up in that and Michael and I can make some pretty cool content with it. Moving down the line, we have this beautiful gold, silver, and black one, of course by the High Master Windu himself, Mace Windu's lightsaber. Now unfortunately this one does not have bad motherfucker engraved on it. I wish it did. If you understand that joke, you're a legend. But nonetheless, this lightsaber is immaculate and gorgeous. Windu has always had like a super intricate and expensive lightsaber. Expensive in terms of canon, like the actual canon lore of having this gold plate and the way he designed his lightsaber is incredibly expensive, and it was like strictly limited to Jedi High Council members. So basically in essence his entire hilt is like a huge ego stroke. Basically him saying that I'm the best and I know I'm the best, and I mean he's Sam Jackson, so of course he's allowed to do that. Now even though I'm not the biggest fan of Mace Windu's character, I absolutely love how gorgeous his lightsaber looks. Game recognizes game. You gotta appreciate how that looks. Trivia question number 5. Are we on 5? I think we're on 5. There's an old Star Wars game called Star Wars The Force Unleashed where you play as an insurgent secret apprentice under Vader's rule within the Empire. The code name for this apprentice is Starkiller. However, he has a real name. What is that real name? As long as we're talking about video games, we might as well move on to this next one that we have from Jedi Survivor. Dude, I gotta say, these segues are great. If I did advertisements, I would be immaculate at it. Like, I just flawlessly moved into video game lightsabers through a trivia question. Not to flex, but I don't know why you watch my videos. Anyway, this is the Cal Kestis lightsaber from Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order. Now, this one obviously is one of the most unique lightsaber hilt designs for an incredibly obvious reason. The emitter shroud itself is like half of the lightsaber hilt. This thing is huge. And because the emitter is so large, the rest of the hilt has to be extended because of it. And you can really see it when you compare it to like a normal size lightsaber that this guy's got a little bit extra going on. Anyway, while I don't know too much about those games, what I do know is that he wields 3 different sets of lightsabers. He has a single, dual wield, and a connected double-bladed lightsaber. Again, incredibly high detail, incredibly good replica. Next up on our list, we actually have a dual pair that goes together. I'll let you try to guess before I actually show it. What lightsabers could you... Oh wait, next trivia question. Trivia question number 4. Name every character you can think of that uses dual wield lightsabers. I'll wait. Anyway, so the next one that we have is a dual-wield lightsaber character, Ahsoka Tano from the Clone Wars. Now, this one is kind of a cheat code because if I just show you this one, this is her lightsaber from the first 2 seasons, and she doesn't pick this one up until season 3, and then of course she uses it all the way until the end of the Clone Wars, and then she switches to her Rebel sabers in Rebels. But the reason that this one is kind of a cheat code is because this is not technically a lightsaber. It is a smaller lightsaber hilt and a smaller lightsaber blade that is supposed to be used for secondary combat called a shoto. This is never supposed to be used as the primary lightsaber. It's supposed to be used in tandem with a primary lightsaber in the form of dual wielding. So in most cases, you use your primary lightsaber hilt to attack and defend mainly, while your shorter hilt is a much more quicker, much more flexible, and much more agile, being used for like quick jabs and parries, and of course blocking your blind side when you can't see it. And with Ahsoka being an incredibly talented, skilled, and nimble character, she was absolutely unstoppable with the dual wield approach. This is another one when I look at it, I just feel happy because seeing the Clone Wars lightsabers like this in real life makes me wonder what these characters would look like if we had all live action interpretations. It's weird saying it now because I know at this point we kind of have a lot of live action versions of these animated characters, but back when I got these, we didn't. So moving on to the next one, we have one of my favorite ones, not my favorite one on this list, but one of my favorite ones because A, it's a double-bladed saber, and B, there's 3 different ways to wield it, and C, it comes from some of the most baller dudes in the galaxy. We have the Temple Guard lightsaber. This one just screams elegance. You can see the gold plate, like I said earlier, that is only allowed for Jedi Hat Council members, so of course these guys have to be ballers if they're allowed to have the gold-plated lightsabers. And the overall color scheme itself just kind of screams royalty, and it's just gorgeous. They're also one of the only lightsabers in like the Clone Wars era canon that has a yellow blade, the only other one being Ahsoka's secondary blade, which has a yellowish tint to the green. I think we also see Asajj Ventress wield a yellow blade later down the line, but that's a little fuzzy in my memory. Anyway, like I mentioned, this saber can be wielded 3 different ways. The first, of course, is the double-bladed way, but it also comes apart and has 2 separate attachments. The first attachment is to put these end caps on it when you split it so that you have 2 blades and you can dual wield them both as singular blades. And the second one is significantly cooler than the first 2. It's this connector piece that looks like it's a double blade, but you can bend it to have a collapsed blade. This is how they wielded them on their belt. It would be folded up like this, they would hook it right here, and when they needed it, they would pull it out, hit them with a little whip, and now they have a double-bladed saber. This is the same approach that the dark version of Rey, like her Vision in Rise of Skywalker had, where she has that like flick out lightsaber, which is both really cool and super innovative. Moving on from there, we have the spiky one that I stepped on earlier. If you guessed it correctly, then congrats. But we have Darth Maul's lightsaber from Solo and Star Wars Rebels. This, of course, comes from half of an Inquisitor lightsaber that Darth Maul scavenged after he murked one in combat, because obviously Maul is better. You can't try to pull up on my boy and expect to walk away with either your life or a full saber, and in this case, Maul took both, so obviously he's the best. You can't tell I'm like a huge Darth Maul fan. Anyway, while this one is not my favorite Darth Maul design, it was part of a plan that I had to kind of collect every single lightsaber that Darth Maul has used because I'm such a fan of him. Obviously, I have the dual-bladed Phantom Menace one, and now I have the one from Solo and Rebels. The next one I would need is the dual pair that he uses in the final season of Clone Wars that he can then attach on to do a double blade. And the reason that that's the last one I would need is because I already have the other one he uses in the Clone Wars, the Darksaber. Dude, I'm telling you, like these cutaways, these segues, they're just too good at this point. But anyway, that's right, baby. We do in fact have the Darksaber itself. Now, unfortunately, when this one was delivered to me, the guy who was delivering it did not have the best day, because as you know in lore, the only way to accept the Darksaber is to win it in combat. So, you know, I had to do what I had to do to acquire the Darksaber. There's no hard feelings, but it had to be done. But this one is just a beauty, man. It is a high-res replica of the Darksaber, of course shown in Mandalorian and showcased in the Clone Wars itself. This is the only one that came with its own unique blade. While everyone else had a NeoPixel blade that attached in, this one actually had a crafted Darksaber blade that slotted in and was actually like the blade itself. By the way, I think I do feel obligated to mention the reason that I'm not attaching all the blades and showing you all of them lit up is because all of them are dead. They've all just kind of been hanging up in my room for months on end, and I wanted to film the video today in order to have it up in time for May 4th, and I only really have one outlet that I can charge from, so yeah. Anyway, that's the Darksaber. Trivia question number 7? I think 7. When creating all of the concepts and characters for the original Star Wars, George Lucas initially had a lot of the characters looking very different. What was the initial concept that was supposed to be done for Han Solo before he was turned into the dashing Harrison Ford? And of course, the last lightsaber that we have on this list, I had to leave it for last for obvious reasons. We of course have the Chosen One lightsaber himself, Anakin Skywalker. Probably the single most iconic lightsaber in all of Star Wars, and one of the most iconic props in all of film history. Originally, this was wielded by Luke Skywalker in A New Hope. Then, of course, later down the line in the prequels, we discovered that between episodes 2 and 3, Anakin crafted this one and used it throughout the duration of the Clone Wars and episode 3. Of course, then Obi-Wan kept it, was passed off to Luke in A New Hope. He then used it in Empire Strikes Back when it then took its arm, fell down Cloud City, and then ended up in The Force Awakens where it was given to Maz Kanata and passed off to Rey. Rey then declined it, gave it to Finn. Finn used it until the end battle where Ben thought it was his, wasn't his, flew to Rey, Rey had it, and then she used it to murk Ben. In The Last Jedi, she used it, they broke it in an intense game of tug of war. She then used the Band-Aid tape to fix it, used it in Rise of Skywalker. Then in the end, she crafted her own lightsaber, then put this in the sand with Leia's blade at the home of Luke Skywalker, giving it final rest. Woo, that was the history of the Skywalker saber, and as long as I'm saying Skywalker, yeah, Rey's a Skywalker. I might as well say that at the end of the video, so if you click off, at least I already got your view. Come on, bro, don't be like that. Everyone has an opinion, it's okay. I think she's a Skywalker, but I'm not gonna hate you if you don't. I really don't mind. I think all the opinions are valid, it's fine. Anyway, obviously this one is the most iconic of the lightsabers and one of my favorites, but it is not my favorite. Now, we've waited to the end of the video, we've seen all of the lightsabers. Obviously, I said this one is one of my favorites, so it would probably have to take the number 2 spot out of all the ones I've shown you before. So that leads us into our last trivia question, number 8. Were you able to correctly guess Miles' favorite lightsaber? If you played the game correctly, you should have already typed what your answer was, so I will now reveal what the answer is. Obviously, it's the flick out one, like come on, bro. Wow, I didn't realize how bad that was. No, of course, it's Darth Maul's double-bladed saber from Phantom Menace. Like, as much as I love Anakin's saber, and as much as that one is like the showcase saber, I can't get enough of this one, and it's always been my favorite hilt design. And I think I geeked out a little bit more opening this one versus opening Anakin's, but I mean, come on. Like, opening any lightsaber, I was super geeked out for. And again, super grateful to have the opportunity to do all of that with all of those sabers. And I do think that's going to do it for this video. I think that's all the lightsabers that I have to show you guys. So as always, I do want to thank you guys so much for watching and looking at all the lightsabers with me. And again, if you do like this kind of content, if you're big on Star Wars, if you're big on lightsabers, definitely feel free to let me know down below because I would like to expand content out into more than just Spider-Man. I'm never going to stop making Spider-Man videos. I'm always going to be your Spider-Man guy, and I love being that guy. But I obviously have a lot of other passions too, including Star Wars. I mean, hell, I spent a lot of time and money making my own Biker Scout Trooper kit that I wear at C2E2 a lot, and I kind of just never talk about it. So if the audience does enjoy Star Wars and wants to see more of it, let me know, and I would love to incorporate that into normal content as well. If not, I'm probably still going to end up doing it in some form or fashion, but if there's interest, I'll go a lot heavier on it, of course. And definitely feel free to let me know what your favorite lightsaber is down below, whether it was one I had in this video or it's one that you have personal to you, whether it's specific to the movies, the comics, canon, non-canon, legends, I don't care. I want to hear what your favorite saber is. And obviously, I do have to extend sincere gratitude and thanks to Kyber Sabers. Even though I'm no longer an affiliate for them and I no longer make videos for them, I still do have a lot of gratitude for the fact that they gave me a chance to kind of make those videos and they liked the stuff that I made, and they had a partnership that gave me a huge opportunity and a really cool opportunity to not only showcase these sabers for you guys and for the community, but also own them and be able to display them for myself. Because like I said, that's a dream come true, and I'm super grateful for that. And of course, as long as I'm saying thanks, I'm super grateful for all of you guys too, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do any of this as well. So thank you, and give yourselves a pat on the back. As always, thank you so much for watching. Happy May 4th. Make sure you go watch a Star Wars movie today. Peace and love, do good things, and may the Force be with you. Peace.
Yeah, Spider-Man!